What's up, nerds? Little big robots here, back with another little version of a big robot. Warhammer 40,000's Chaos Space Marine. This is one of my favorite lines of all time, minus the, what I don't like, I can say it right now with true conviction, is I don't like the fact that they are hard to stand and pose sometimes. They're not super flexible, but in a strange way, it reminds me of some of the toys from my youth. I am old enough to have grown up in the 80s. So I had the real OG toys where posing was not a thing, but you made it work, darn it. You worked with what you had. And I kind of like that they're kind of clumsy like old 80s toys in a way. The designs are great. The paint jobs are generally great, but there's no washing or anything. And so I've done videos before. If you look on my old videos, here's what I always do. I always just save these like this. Let's do it that way. There we go. Sorry. Save it like that. I put it in a big thing and I have every box. So there's a box. This is the laughably small. Let's go ahead and cut them out. Let me pause if we cut them out here. I hate all this noise. Hang on a second. Okay, I hate that process. Here is the Chaos Space Marine. Here is the, as I was saying, the laughably tiny. It doesn't even cover both feet. If they would just make a stand, picture this. Not even as big as my hand, maybe as big as like this big. Like the Fortnite ones. They did it for Fortnite. Not Fortnite, as Star Wars as well. They were more of a rectangular thing, so you could put them on there, use both those holes, put them in a pose, maybe put several little pegs, charge $2 more, and then we could have them where they could stand easily. So let's take a look at the Marine itself. Immediately, I love the look. I'm not a Chaos Space Marine fan. I think they're kind of goofy. Chaos is cool, I guess, but it's more like Gwar to me and less like actually scary in Warhammer. So that's kind of funny. I love the mold, but immediately you could see what a nice quick wash, pop, would just make that pop like crazy. But I do like the base colors. But you see what I mean? They do a little bit of dry brushing here and there. Some of them they'll almost weather. Now let me grab my fave here and I'll show you. So some of them will be like this, the OG first one, right? He's all posed in combat on my shelf over there. Looks great, but absolutely no weathering. Some of them they have actually weathered just a bit. They seem to be hit or miss. This guy looks aged a bit as far as you see the nicks and everything, but there's no separation there. I just wish they would charge a bit more and put a good dry brush and or a wash on this. See, like this is a very cool backpack, but you can't. So just a quick dry brush with gold, silver, anything, white, gray, just a little tap, and all that stuff would pop. As is usual, the backpack usually that goes in really easy. It's kind of shockingly easy. Now the gun's cool. I appreciate that there's a bit of a variance here. Also, he's got a clipped, a double clip there where you can just flip it, and pop it back in. Bolt guns are funny. They're supposed to be firing out, bolts that are like this big or whatever, automatically, like a machine gun, and they're like this big, and so there's like 6-7 shots in there maybe, and they always make it look like it's firing 200 bullets with no reload or anything. This is always a bit hard. You kind of get better at it. You kind of got to hold it with one part of your body, and then so this arm here is still the same basic layout. Left hand forward to hold the weapon, kind of, if you're lucky. See, so now I've got to figure out how to see if I can get it. See, you can't quite. So you got to there. So he kind of holds the weapon like that. The posability is not much of anything. These things aren't known for their posability. They're known just to look cool. But a lot of people in the community who have been painting these, I've painted a couple myself, but who are doing really, really wonderful jobs, mention how back heavy it is. So as you're posing it, the problem is you're always fighting the weight of that backpack. He seems pretty good. Maybe they've learned the lesson a bit and tweaked it a bit to where it's got a little more tolerance. But that's pretty solid. And most of them, I'm even having to use literal actual stands, like gunpla stands. Not only that, what I've been doing is I've been drilling out the barrel, and putting flame effects and stuff like gun effects and stuff. So it's been real fun. as usual with any of these, if you've seen any other videos of these guys, they're one of my favorite lines because they're just a big, chunky, silly, and pretty inexpensive set of toys from an IP that everybody probably knows in some way. Even if you don't love it, you kind of know it. So it's a well-known IP. They're so cheap sometimes. I've seen people buy 10 and 20 of these and paint them all, and they're going to try to play giant Warhammer with them. You know, just cool. Something back there is sharp. You know, it's just a fun. This brings out the kid in me. This type of line, even though the paint jobs and stuff like it are often pretty crappy. This one, the problem is the gold, since it sticks out so much because it is so gold and it's so black. You can really see like this is a dry brushed effect here on the bones, or it's, I don't know, a machine does it or whatever, probably a person, but you're literally just taking an almost dry brush with some paint on it, and you're just doing that, like what I described to everybody as, let's say you're fingerprinting, you know, looking for fingerprints. You do that and it hits just the upper raised areas. So you can see where it might get in some of the gaps, it might not, but overall, from a distance, it looks good. Imagine if they would have done that to that, to that, to all that, to that. But again, I said this before, but Warhammer is a game where you paint soldiers, little tiny soldiers, and play with them. So I do wonder if that kind of, in this world, they're like, people can paint them if they don't like them. You know, they kind of know that happens, but I don't know. For the price point, they do a great job. I love McFarlane toys most of the time, but sometimes you just get something that even with the price point, it's kind of like, oh, that's crappy. But again, they don't move a lot. But again, they're supposed to be silly fun. Look, he's taunting somebody that way. Hey, that's a cool pose. You know, cool design. I'm more of a fan of a beaky. I don't like this marine look. I'm not a big fan of that. I want a beaky. I might customize one to have a beaky. But it does look really cool. This is all really, really nice. I like how there's some variance here between this and the standard marine. As far as this is a Primaris or whatever, you see the inner workings and everything. So there's some really, really nice details in all of these. You just got to find a way to kind of pull them out. So really, really cool, fantastic. This is dying for a dry brush. Go on the subreddits, Warhammer subreddit, and you'll find a bunch of examples of people painting these. I'll probably dry brush one of these. Our problem is just time. I never have time to paint and stuff like I used to. But you see even how very little quote-unquote crunch he's got there. So they're not for posing as much as you kind of get them in a delicate position, take some photos, make a video, whatever, and put them away. You know? So let me show you my Warhammer shelf real quick, and I'm gonna see if I can put them on there. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is create kind of a battle. There's a couple, like in the back there, you can see the guy in the back. A couple of them have some paint applied to them. I've been experimenting with dry brushing. There's my sister of battle who's dry brushed up. She's on the front line. I'm experimenting with this little, I'm gonna probably wash these bricks here so that they have like a weathered look, and then all the bad guys will be coming from that area. But as you can see, I'm using gunpla stands to literally hold them up, because there's really, I've got to get his weapon. There's really no easy way to do that. But you can see I'm using some different weapons effects there. They look cool on different, when the lights kind of go through different shades. Some of them bring out a lot of cool coloration. I've got a couple extra Marines I'm going to put in the front here dead. So he is now going to be on the front lines. So let's move this dude back a little bit. I hate the squeaking sound it makes. Ugh. So see, I'm messing around with it, you know, trying to get a little bit of a display going on. I discovered that, oh, there you go. Look at that. Let's see. Oh, cool. You know, I'm trying to get more into posing and displaying in that way instead of just static poses, because it's just fun. It just kind of, I don't play with toys, of course, but this is a way to kind of play with them. It's really, it's really, really funny. It just makes me laugh. See, right there in the reflection stuff, he has some really nice, he's a good looking design and sculpt and stuff like that. But so he's now, that's an additional bad guy on the front line. I'm trying to get some vertical height here, you know, to cover in that area. And then I need to put a background of some kind. So if you have any ideas, let me know. What was interesting, and this guy came up on sale on Amazon for 13 bucks. 14 bucks, and I thought it was I talked about it in my last video. I thought it was maybe a bit of a joke, because sometimes you see people put up stuff for listing that they're not actually there to sell. It's like I don't know what they're doing. They're trying to pull orders away from other, I don't know, I need to read about it. But so I ordered this for 14 bucks when I had my pre-order in for the other one, and sure enough, it showed up from Amazon. I was like, what? So really cool. I think he's doing a good job. Doing a good job, Bob. Keep it up. Let's take a photo of Bob. There you go, Bob. Looks good. Looks good. All the chaos is a little bit weird looking, but overall they're my favorite. This whole side is my favorite. The Marines are just super chunky and fun, but they all just need a little bit of work, just a little bit, just a little dry brushing like her. You see, see how much detail it pulls out when you just do a little dry brushing and washing and stuff. So anyway, everybody, have a good day. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye for the Emperor.